Thanks for keeping it local with NBC6 News Weekend. Good evening, I'm Morgan Thomas in for Markel Sinnett. At the top of the news this hour, a fire breaks out in a vacant home in the Queensboro neighborhood. Shreveport firefighters were called to the 2400 block of Portland Avenue around 4 this afternoon. Neighbors believe 2 people are staying at the home, but no one was there when emergency crews arrived. It took firefighters 15 minutes to control the blaze. The cause is still under investigation. A final decision from the Federal Aviation Administration will shut down air traffic control towers at regional airports across the country. This is bad news for 2 Arklatex airports. NBC6's Jade Cunningham joins us live in the Content Center with the latest. Jade, what kind of reaction are you having from folks about the FAA decision?
Morgan, the control tower at Texarkana's Regional Airport and Shreveport's downtown Municipal Airport are officially on the chopping block. That means that come April 7th, the FAA is planning on closing those towers down, and people at both facilities, they're not happy about it.
After weeks of fighting,
we've called the governor's offices, we signed petitions to be sent in, we had meetings to fight to keep the tower open. Our airport director did about everything she possibly could to get it to stay open.
The FAA made their final decision.
We received a rejection notice. Our appeal is denied.
And even though it's been an exhausting battle,
of course you're disappointed because the towers have been a key factor in what we consider to be the safest air transportation system in the world.
Both airports are not giving up.
This tower goes back to 1959. It has saved lives, it's minimized property damage. We're not going to let it close.
Unfortunately, we are losing the tower, but we can adjust to that. We can make the changes necessary to keep this business up and operational.
While pilots at Shreveport's downtown Municipal Airport will rely on each other,
the pilots are going to have to be in much more communication with each other to make sure everyone's safe in the air.
Texarkana's airport officials will look at ways to keep their control tower open, even if that means paying out of pocket.
And it may mean reducing hours of operation. It may mean reducing some services, but in the end, I go to my 2 owning sponsors, the 2 cities.
But no matter what, both facilities say it's not the end.
It's as safe today as it has ever been, and we will ensure that it continues to be safe in the future.
For Texarkana's airport, the big question now is if American Eagle will continue to provide service there. But Lubert says for the time being, they're there to stay. Also, Morgan, no layoffs or furloughs are expected for any of the employees at both facilities at this time.
Thank you, Jade. After debating throughout the night, the U.S. Senate approved a budget plan proposed by the Democrats. Just before 5 a.m., the Senate okayed a $3.7 trillion budget for next year, passing it by a 1-vote margin. The budget includes nearly $1 trillion in tax increases over the coming decade. It also protects some domestic programs that were targeted for cuts. And NBC6 is your local election headquarters. Early voting for the April election kicked off today. There are several items on the ballot in Bossier and Caddo parishes, including tax continuation proposals, as well as council and alderman races. Remember to bring proof of identification when you head to the polls. In Caddo Parish, early voting takes place at the Register of Voters office on Marshall Street from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you didn't get a chance to vote today, polls reopen again on Monday through next Saturday, March 30th, with the exception of Good Friday. The hours are the same in Bossier Parish. Election Day is Saturday, April 6th. And medical students at LSU Health Shreveport reach a big milestone on their way to becoming physicians. The White Coat ceremony marks a turning point in their medical training. 112 future doctors received their white coats today at Riverview Theater after spending 2 years mainly in the classroom. These students will now work with actual patients in their medical center and clinics in their 3rd and 4th year.
This is so special that now we'll actually get to do what all of our passion is. You know, we want to be with the patients and get to interact with the people, and so this white coat really means that that's what we're about to do.
Along with their white coats, medical students take an oath to first do no harm. Professor of Clinical Surgery Dean Griffin was on hand to give advice to these future physicians. And you can lend some helping hands to a local organization while enjoying some good food next week. Bistro Byron's is planning a special menu for Tuesday, March 26th. Dinner will be from 6 to 9 that evening. Proceeds from the $35 4-course meal will be donated to the Philadelphia Center. You can reserve a spot by calling 318-219-4848. And a small town store is doing their part to ensure local sick children dreams come true. This morning, Fred's Super Dollar Store in Benton held their first annual Children's Miracle Network fundraiser. Face painting, giveaways, and other fun activities were all on tap, all to raise money for Krista Sutton's Children's Hospital. Store manager John Robinson came up with the idea after learning one of his own employees' children is fighting their own battle with cancer.
Help them get by, those that don't have the money to get the care that they need. This money helps them pay those bills and helps get them the treatments that they need.
And if you want to get involved with Fred's Fund, they're still taking donations. Just call 318-741-6755. Practice makes perfect, even when it comes to hunting for eggs. Even though Easter is still a week away, little ones and their families started the celebration early. This morning, the gardens of the American Rose Center in Shreveport hosted their 13th annual Easter egg hunt. About 300 kids showed up to play games, take a ride on the train, and of course, see who could find the most Easter eggs. While the event raises money to keep their gates open, Rose Garden Director Jeff Ware says the most important thing is that the entire family have fun.
Behind me, we have a special visitor, and that's the Easter Bunny. That's probably my favorite part, to see the children meet the Easter Bunny and have their photo made.
Admission was $10 per carload. Egg hunts were divided up by age group from 1 to 2-year-olds all the way up to preteens. Pet Savers of Shreveport is excited to see 5 of their dogs and pups find forever homes today. The No-Kill Shelter invited potential pet owners to PetSmart on Uri Drive for a special adoption day from 9:30 until 3:30 this afternoon. And as you can see, a lot of happy people have brought home a new addition to their families. We featured many of these adorable animals during a story last night on NBC6. Several of the ones adopted today were part of a 9-puppy litter left behind in the shelter's parking lot. Pet Saver, if you're looking for a new pet, Pet Savers is going to have another adoption day at PetSmart next Saturday. So if you're interested in adopting, head that way. But not everyone is a dog person. The Arklatex Cat Society's cat show this weekend showcases some of the most perfectly adorable cats and kittens. The theme, rock and roll cats, and that's exactly what these felines do in front of the judges. Ann Paul's prize-winning ragdoll is in the top 3 in estimated international standings for her breed. She talks about what it takes to win a cat show of this caliber.
Knowing your breed standards, working with them, and the most important thing, to get where she's got, you don't ever cage your cats.
This is the first time the Arklatex Cat Society has hosted a show in Shreveport. The Rock and Roll Cat Show continues tomorrow at Riverview Hall starting at 10 a.m. The Shreveport-based family band Forever Jones is taking their faith on a new journey into reality TV. DeWitt and Kim Jones began singing with their 5 children every morning in prayer. They started the band as a way to spread the faith. The group now has 2 albums and Grammy nominations. Cameras will follow the family as they balance careers with their spiritual life. The show will premiere on the Bounce TV network on June 5th. Coming up, President Obama is on his way back to the States from the Middle East. His last stop focused on the past, hoping to build a new future.
And we're dealing with some of those thunderstorms across the region tonight. As those continue to move out, the cold air, it's going to move in. Talking about temperatures in the 30s and 40s to start off your Sunday. We'll talk about what that means for the week ahead as NBC6 News continues right after the break.